Hey there guys, Braden here, and today we are taking a look at the Power Rangers Dino Fury Zord Megapack. This is a pack that consists of the 5 main Zords from Power Rangers Dino Fury. These Zords being the T-Rex Champion Zord, which is sold by itself, the Tricera Blade Zord, the Stego Needle Zord, these two are sold together, the Tiger Clawzord, and the Ankylo Hammer Zord, those two are sold together. But I ended up getting the Megapack, which comes with all 5 of them. Now, this is going to be quite a long review because these guys have quite a few different combinations they can form, quite a number of different things they can do together, and like most Power Rangers sets, they basically can't do anything by themselves. Together is the way to go. Now this set also comes with a bunch of accessories, which I have in this bag over here. But most of these accessories are not necessary. They do come with all this, which are 2 sets of fists, 2 extra cannons, and 2 extra drills. You do not need any of these to complete the set. So if you don't want these, you don't need them. What you do need, however, are the keys, there are 5 of them in this bag, and I will show the keys off as we go through the different combinations. But this guy has quite a few different combinations. He can form quite a few things that all the Zords can do together. But we're going to start off, first off, by moving all these guys out of the way and taking a look at the Champion Zord himself. He is pretty nice looking. He's a lot better looking, in my opinion at least, than the T-Rex Zord from Dino Charge, though that is up to personal preference. I know there are probably going to be some people out there who like the Dino Charge T-Rex Zord more than this guy. But of course, like a lot of Sentai Mecha nowadays, he can transform on his own in addition to needing the other guy. So he doesn't... Articulation for this guy is basically non-existent. You can't open his mouth. Well, you're supposed to be able to open his mouth, but not very much. His arms down here are capable of a little bit of movement. You can move his legs slightly to get him in different poses, but you're not really going to want to. Now, to begin transforming this guy, what you're going to need to do is just basically start taking things apart. And yeah, that's another thing. This tail loves to come off, so don't try to put any weight on it. But take that off. Take the cannons off. Take off the drills. And some of these guys are connected rather securely. And then the last thing you're going to do is... You might have to swivel this piece to get it off. Oh, you're going to want to take that off too. Swivel this torso section to get it off, but you're going to need to get that off and then attach it backwards. And now we can begin to stand him up. No, don't do that. Fold down the Rex arms. And fold... come on. Yeah, this set isn't always the most cooperative. That's what you kind of get with Power Rangers. Like this. And then what you're going to do is take the legs and extend them. And now he's standing, but we're not quite done. What we're going to do now is turn him around and clip in the tail. Now, by the way, this green piece right here, you don't have to put this here, but I put this here because otherwise there is nowhere for this piece to go. It just sort of sits there without it. So, yeah, now take the drills. And of course, you can do this with any of the drill colors, but I'm just going to use the ones that came with the set, which are these black ones. Take the drills and stick them onto his shoulders. Then take the cannons and stick those onto his hands. And I've only now realized that in all the times I transformed this guy, I think I had the cannons facing the wrong way. Come on. Yeah, these Zord Link ports is what Hasbro is calling these. I don't know how well these are going to work for later figures, but they do work decently for this guy. Take the head, stick that onto his chest to form a chest plate, and then what you're last going to need is a key. And in this case, I'm going to use the red one because this is the Red Ranger Zord, so why the hell not? Now I just gotta find the right key. It's in here, and there's a... Now, these keys can apparently be used with the Morpher toy. I don't have the toy of the Morpher, so I don't know. But they also have this. For some reason, on the back here, there's this piece of plastic you can peel off, which will show off this little Ranger-esque figure. I don't particularly like that, because I feel like that's going to be really easily lost. But once you have the key, slide that in, and this will happen a lot where his legs will go back down. This will happen quite a bit, basically whenever you put any sort of weight on him. But once you have that in, you have here the T-Rex Champion Zord in its warrior form. And I mean, this looks pretty cool, I'm gonna admit. It's pretty nice looking. But it is, of course, not the only thing we can do with this set. We can also, of course, combine him with the other Zords. We're gonna start by combining him with the Tricera and the Ankylo Zord, which the first thing you're gonna do for that is start disassembling him, but only slightly. Just take the drills and the cannons off, because don't worry, they will not go anywhere, they will come back. And then for these two guys, split them apart. By the way, these guys don't really do anything on their own. They're both pretty boring. Tricera Zord does have some movement in the head, but not a whole lot. The Ankylo Zord has barely any movement in the head. Its tail can rotate, but other than that, you're not really going to get very much out of these two. Now, once that's done, start piecing them. And this doesn't always want to go very easy, and I'm sorry that I'm moving this off camera, but once you get that like that, do the same for this side, only with the other drill. Pop this on the shoulder, on that shoulder. Pop this on the other shoulder. And I'm desperately trying to keep him in camera because I'm aware that some of my older Power Rangers reviews, I had the figures off camera for most of it. Then, take the cannons and stick them on like this. And then, I think this is how they're supposed to go. So you've got a blade on that side. Do the same with this one. Stick that onto the other arm where you get an Ankylosaurus head just sticking off. And here we have the Dino Fury Megazord, which is just the three main Zords. These two guys don't really get to combine yet, combined together. This is not bad looking by any means, not bad. It's interesting, definitely interesting. Though again, only 3 of the Zords are actually used here. Now, there is an alternate combination that you can do with this. There are actually several alternate combinations you can do with this. Now, the first of these alternate combinations is basically leave the Ankylo here, but take this drill off, and then take this entire assembly off. Keep this on. Actually, no, don't keep this on. Take this and replace... Okay, I'm trying to figure out which direction you would want this to face. Give me just a second. I'm really still new to this set, so... Okay, you gotta get a drill on this. That's not gonna work. This will maybe work. There we go. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's a little silly looking, but don't worry, this will just get sillier. Honestly, I'm not a terribly big fan of the 2 alternate combinations this guy can do. But there's a cannon here, and then rip the guy's head off, and rip off the chest piece. This, like, get it off. This will now become our new chest piece. Slide that in, and then here they are. I have the bag with the keys and everything right next to me. And then take the blue key, which does have a different face. They aren't just the same key, but repainted. And, bear with me, because there's a very specific slot this key has to go into for the Megazord head, and it can be a bit difficult to get it because I have to reach over like this. But here we have the Dino Fury Megazord Blade formation, is what I believe this is called. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I definitely think I like the regular formation a bit better, but it's not awful looking. Of course, with the blade formation, there's also a formation where the Ankylo takes up the majority of this. To get this formation going, start ripping them apart again. Basically, just rip them into pieces. Come on. And yeah, you'll notice, ow, some of these guys like to stay attached very much, and the tail fell off. As I was expecting, the tail fell off. Now, first things first, take the Tricera for this formation and put it there. I think you're supposed to put the Tricera's head there, I'm not sure, because I'm basically basing this off of a photo of the toy, or not of the toy, of the show's model to do this. Now, in this formation, you're actually going to take the tail off and attach it to the arm. Well, I don't know quite what that would accomplish, but it's there. Now, for the Ankylo part of this formation, the two Ankylo pieces, where did I put one? Here it is. The Ankylo's head will become our new chest plate, while the tail, with the hammer piece, attach a drill to one side, attach a cannon to the other, I'm not going to lie, this is kind of silly looking, but attach this to the arm to form a hammer. And I'm not going to mess this up like I did with my practice run of this video where I forgot to put the head in. I'll take the pink key and slide that in. And here we have the Dino Fury Megazord hammer formation. And, again, it's okay. It's nothing special. I think it looks fine. But, now to get this guy ready for his other two combinations, we are of course going to need to start stripping him down again. Basically for these next two combinations, or at least the next combination at the very least, basically return him to, partially at least, to how he was in his first Megazord formation. Not entirely, because there are going to be several things we're going to be leaving off this formation, which were there on the original one. And this guy is a bit of a pain to get standing. But almost dropped it. Take the back halves of the Tricera and the Ankylo, stick them back on the shoulders, and then take the drills and stick them on top. They don't always want to go in too easy. I'm going to take this guy off so I can get this on. Okay, now we've got him ready, but now I need to clear this crap in. By the way, I don't know where the tail goes in this formation, but I'm just going to leave it off to the side and show off. I'm going to take the lance off just so this thing can stand correctly. But this is the Tiger Clawzord. It is obviously based on a saber-toothed cat, probably a Smilodon. It's pretty cool looking. I would say it might be my favorite of the set if it weren't for the fact that a few things bug me about it. Biggest one being the legs are... The torso itself does not seem to be very stable, though I might have it attached wrong. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but for some reason this guy doesn't like standing up. It might be because of these things, but these are supposed to be stuck here. Otherwise, you don't have anywhere to put them. You are also supposed to keep the lance attached to this guy if you don't want to lose it. The lance is actually only used in formations involving this guy, so I'm assuming it's meant to go with him. But I'm not sure. Now, to combine him with the Megazord, what we're going to do is basically start ripping him apart. First by taking these greaves off, split him in half, take the tail off, and then split this open. I said split this open. Come on now. My nails are definitely longer. Split this open and flip it over to form a new chest piece. And then we get to the head. Now this part's a little tricky because when I pop the head off, all I end up doing is popping it off the ball and socket joint that it's attached to. which you don't want to do that, because what you want to do is detach the entire, Jesus, head assembly, which just came flying at me. Expect it to do that a lot, because it doesn't like to detach. And it also doesn't like to detach from this, which is the lance, which you're going to stick the, come on. It doesn't like to go in, it doesn't like to stay in, and it doesn't like to get off. My favorite kind of toy, but there you have it. It's attached to the lance. I'm not gonna lie, this is really silly looking, but it's Power Rangers. What was I really expecting? Take this half, and this half will go on this arm. I think it's supposed to go like that. I'm not sure. Take the other half, and you'll notice this plug here. There is a plug hole on the arm where this can go. Doesn't go in very well, but it does go in. And on that arm, you're also going to take the lance and stick that in his hand. Yeah, I like to call this a green nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what you're actually going to do is take the greaves and stick those, well, they're supposed to clip on to the sides of the knees. They do this admirably. They do it well enough. Though, again, for some reason, I always have trouble getting them on. Okay. There we go. I think I got it. And he's tipping over because he's super heavy like this. Take the chest piece, and once I can get it aligned. The big problem with this is that you need to get everything aligned properly, or else they're not going to go in. Take that, and then all we need to do now is find the green key, which is in here somewhere, and put that into place, if I can get it in correctly. Come on. Sorry, I gotta tip this guy over so I can actually see the hole it's supposed to go in. But here we have the Dino Fury Megazord claw formation. And this is pretty silly looking, I'm not gonna lie. Mainly just because it's basically just, we tore the tiger to pieces to form this, and it just looks a little silly, not gonna lie. It's not awful looking by any means, but it's just a little silly looking. Now, getting the tiger back together can be a bit of a pain. Getting him off is not really, usually, is not the problem. Because there are two more formations after this. There's also another formation, which is, there are also several other toy-only formations, but I'm not going to show those off because a lot of them are really silly looking and are basically only there in case you never get the, in case you didn't get the, Megapack and just got one of the 2-packs before getting this one. And his hand's actually in rotation, I did not notice that. But yeah, start taking them apart and take out the green key, and then take these drills off without separating the Triceratops. And I just dropped the bag with all the stuff in it. Now, before we get into the next formation, I do want to show you how to get the tiger back together, because it is not just two pieces, and the main reason it's so difficult is getting this head off the lance. In fact, in the bag, I have a nail file in this bag, which my grandma, I was showing this set to her earlier, and she gave me this nail file so that I can more easily get the... And it just broke. That's just great. Great. Come on. But yeah, this head, really, really difficult to get off. Because it's very difficult to get a grip on it. You can see how much I'm trying to shake the table from how much force I'm applying here. I just broke the other end of it. That's just great. Okay, got it off. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's really hard to get this back on. But once you get that off, reattaching the rest of this guy is fairly easy. just stick these two ends together, stick the head back on, if I can get it back on, come on. And the other problem is the head doesn't like to go back on after you get everything back in place, but it did there fairly easily. Get the tail back on. And even like this, he doesn't like to stand particularly well, and I don't quite know why. The legs are a little articulated, but... And then just stick the greaves back on. Come on. Come on. And then just for the sake of keeping everything together, I'm going to put the lance back on. You don't have to. It does kind of make the figure a little top-heavy, but I'm going to put that back on just for the sake of having him together. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at the Stego Needle Zord, which is a interesting Zord in that it is not intended to be based on a Stegosaurus. In Ryu's Soldier, at least. In Ryu's Soldier, this is a Miragaia, which is a more obscure species of Stegosaur, but not as many people know about Miragaia, so they made it a Stegosaurus. Now this guy is a bit crazy when you start taking him apart. And the first thing you're going to want to do to take him apart is separate this back spike piece, take his head off, take his tail off, and then this part, split this. And by split this, I mean take the back of it off. And you'll notice there's nothing actually keeping these back parts attached to each other. The only thing keeping them together is being snugly rest against these two. These two pieces. Now split these in half, and you'll notice these weird little things under them. Those are there for a purpose. But before we get into those, first thing we're going to do is start forming this guy up, which includes... Okay, I gotta move this off camera because this is not cooperating with me at all. Okay, that's actually how it's supposed to go. But stick that spike onto that, and stick his head onto this piece, if you can get it on. Now, these two pieces are a bit of a pain in the ass, because you need to get them onto his shoulders to form shoulder pads. And they don't really like to go in. And by don't like to go in, I mean I spent 20 minutes trying to get this guy put together last night. Of course, when I was showing my grandma this, it only took me like 2 minutes, but just be careful when these guys are put together. Especially this side. This side took forever. I just gotta... The problem here is that there are only 4 connector pegs. And the other part is this likes to pop off. And this half is extremely uncooperative. Okay, I got some of them in. I'm not going to keep him like this for very long because he does not feel stable in the slightest. I'm going to take the drills, stick them into his knees to form knee pads. I guess he could knee you with these and just drill you to death with them. Take these, and these will form like weapons of some description. I have no idea what these are actually intended to be, but they're there. Come on. And then take this, face it downwards, and it will form a chest piece. Stand up straight. And then last but not least, take the black key, once I can find it, and that will become his head. And this is the Dino Fury Megazord Needle formation. For all the pain it takes you to get this formation together, I have to say it is pretty nice looking. I do quite like this mode, though it's not perfect. I really don't quite like the drill knees, but oh well. Now he does have one last combination you can form, and it's a bit of a nightmare, so bear with me. What we're going to do is, for this one, we are basically going to rip him completely apart, because we will basically need to do an entirely new formation for this. Now, I'm going to leave out one specific part of the formation, which is the left arm, because that involves, once again, putting the tiger's head on the lance, and my nail file just broke, so I can't actually, so it'll be a nightmare to get the tiger's head out, but the right hand would hold the tiger lance, while also having one of the tiger's feet attached to it. Just know that. Now the first thing we're going to do is take the stego's tail piece and stick the drills onto it. Now I think this combination requires a different head, one that I don't have because this set didn't come with it, or it could just be the red one I need. Now this side is for some reason really shaky, which is weird because the other side is not shaking at all. But this becomes our chest piece, this weird drill mechanism thing. You're going to take these, the side armor pieces, take one of these, and it's hard for me to show this on camera, but I'll show you the final result because this is a bit ridiculous. But you will get this. Now this, I think, would actually be good enough, this shield right here. However, you're also supposed to take the T-Rex's head and stick that onto it. I think, personally, that's a bit of overkill, especially since, I think I may have done this upside down. Okay, yeah, this is how it's supposed to go, I think. Again, I could be wrong on this. That is extremely heavy, by the way. It more than likely will fall by doing that. Now take the Ankylo head and Tricera head, it's right here. I just realized I should have stuck the cannons to these guys before I put them up here. But take the cannons and clip them up there. And the Tricera, for some reason, has given me a lot more resistance than actually staying up here. Now, of course, this arm would normally have the saber, the tiger's head lance thing, but I'm not going to bother with that because that will make because I am not willing to try and get that off. But I will take the tiger's tail, and you're supposed to flip this over once again to form a back piece this time. I've got it the wrong way. Yeah, he does that a lot. Now, this is basically it. Now, I don't know whether or not this is supposed to be the right key for this, but this is mostly the Dino Fury Megazord Ultimate Mode. I am missing, of course, I didn't include the tiger part, the tiger lance, just because I have no real way of getting it off. But this, while this does look kind of cool, it's extremely, extremely heavy, mainly because of this right here. Like you saw, he shook there when I hit the table. So he's not going to stay standing for very long. But overall, I think this set is pretty cool, and I'm kind of interested to see what will come next for this set, what the other figures from the set will be like. So if you're interested, pick this guy up. You might have to spend a little bit more than I did for him, because I don't know whether or not the Megapack is still available on Amazon at the moment. But if you can spring for this guy, go right ahead. He's pretty cool.